Hello and welcome to Female Voices Life and Loss. And I am your host, Teresa Reiniger. Today's conversation is a little different and in the most meaningful way. We're going to talk about healing, not just through processing grief, but through experience and connection, the kind that gently regulate your nervous system and remind you that life can still hold moments of peace. My guest today, Sue Neumann, brings a beautiful perspective on how something as simple as being near the ocean can shift what's happening in your body, lower your stress, calm the mind, and create space to breathe again. And she also carries a powerful story of impact through what's known as, is it a million card ministry? A moment rooted in reaching others through small, intentional acts of kindness and connection. This conversation is about the balance between receiving healing and giving it, and how both can exist even in seasons of grief. So, Sue, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Teresa. I'm really glad to be here. I love to share, and anything that can help anyone in the world, I'm there. I'd like to
Y-
do that.
Yeah, I think the audience got that just from the the introduction that I gave for you, that you are one that wants to give back in every way that you can. There's no
Absolutely.
doubt about that. So let's start with, you drew me kind of in with the beach travel can actually support emotional and physical healing. Let's speak to that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I have always been a big advocate for health and wellness because
Mhm.
I just feel like there's other answers. It doesn't always have to be medication
Yeah.
that can heal you. And so in that journey, and when I started the travel business, I really realized when I was the happiest and at peace, and I felt the most calmness in my soul and my
Mm,
spirit was when I was on the beach and had my feet in the sand. So I
mm,
started doing a little bit of research around that, and they just said it was a proven fact
mm,
that you lower your cortisol levels, your stress levels when you have your feet in the sand. And so I was like,
mm.
okay, well that totally makes sense. And that lowers your blood pressure and has a whole bunch of wonderful health, positive health things that can happen.
Yeah.
Along with the breeze of the ocean and the water. And I have had some of the most amazing spiritual experiences when I've been on the beach as well. So it's definitely a
Yeah.
healing place.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you to share some of those personal experiences when you've been at the beach
Oh,
and those feelings that you have of
yeah.
healing. Yeah. What were some of those? I'm intrigued.
Well, one big one, and you mentioned that when you introduced me about the Million Card Ministry.
Hmm.
On October 16th of 2023, I was on our favorite beach in Riviera Maya, Mexico. There was just something about all the noise in my
Mm,
head goes away. And it's just pure like time with the Lord and with the Holy Spirit. And I was just praying and talking to him and enjoying the sun on my face. And then just like that, I felt like I heard him say, I want you to handwrite 1 million cards to send to the world to share my love and light. And I was
mm,
like, what? I sat there and I was, like, okay, did I really hear that or am I just dreaming? But did
mhm,
somebody say that walking behind me? But who would say that? And so, right? And it kept coming. And my
mhm.
husband had gone to the bathroom and I was like, hey, so there's nobody around, just me at that point in time. But Teresa, it just never left me. It just kept
Wow.
resonating over and over. And thought, okay, this is definitely because I got all the noise out of my head and I was in that peaceful setting.
Hmm.
I could
Hmm.
hear him. And so from that day forward, I came home and I immediately went to work. And so now we've handwritten 32,258 cards. And we now support 5 different nonprofits with the card ministry, another one coming up soon that'll be in the near future. So it's so beautiful. I have a couple of Bible studies and ask people to handwrite cards and send packages. I always send care packages to people that are hurting.
Mhm,
But it's
mhm,
just amazing how your life transforms when you listen to him and you become obedient.
mhm,
It's a
mhm.
game changer. My life has changed so much in the last 3 years. It's
Yeah, that's
incredible.
awesome. That's awesome. Let's talk more about the card ministry, but
Okay.
then I want to go back to the ocean and all of that because I have a lot to say about all of that from experience and stuff. So I'm like, "Oh, which way are we going to go first?" But let's continue with the card ministry.
Okay.
So you were on the beach. God said,
Hmm.
"Sue, this is what I want you to do." You said you send packages and stuff, but talk specifically about the card ministry.
Okay.
What is
Well,
the heart behind sending these cards? Or what do you hope people feel when they receive it? And really, who do you send it? So I asked a lot of questions there. I'll let you elaborate on all of that. Who do you send them to? And how do you decide? And yeah, how does that all work?
yeah. Well, that's an interesting question because
Yeah.
Um, not only do I get fed inquiries from other people because a lot of people have heard about the card ministry now, so I
Hmm.
do get inquiries. I get specific requests, mostly over text message asking, could you send a
Okay.
care package, that kind of thing. And things come up in Bible study, or I see people hurting on Facebook, it may be someone diagnosed with cancer. And if
Uh-huh.
I can find a way, communicate with one of their family members and get an address, then I just mail it to them, even though I don't know 'em. That
Sure.
kind of thing happens all the time. But I think one thing, besides people that are hurting, grieving, definitely serve a
Mhm.
lot of people that have lost loved ones. Those just like going through really serious trials in their life. I just feel I've gotten so many cards. I have a whole stack in my closet here. When people find, they receive these packages and cards, and they just like, I've had people just text me saying, I'm just sitting here bawling
Mhm.
because it has warmed my heart that somebody cares, that somebody, you know what I mean, would just stop and do that. And you don't even know me, that kind
Right.
of thing. And I was like, well, so I knew then I was definitely on the right track. But I think a bigger part of the story that needs to be told is this actually started back in 2003 when my husband and son were deployed to Iraq together at the same time. And I thought I was a faithful person. And that's when I really realized you are not truly faithful to the Lord and his calling and what he calls you to do until you fully surrender to the Lord. And so that's what happened. I knew it was out of control. They were in a war zone, they were getting shot at. And I thought, I have to surrender. And I did. And God said, get the ladies together and send cards and care packages. So I said,
Mhm.
okay. So we did that for 14 months, and
Well,
all of them came home safe and sound. So many came up at the ceremony and said, I just, that the cards got us through. We were
mhm.
so depressed. We were getting
Mhm.
suicidal because the deployment went so long. But they
Mhm.
said those notes from home just kept us going. And I just cannot thank you enough. So that's
Mhm.
really good for me to tell that story without crying,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
usually do. But then I always knew through the years, I always knew since 2004 that one day I was going to be doing something along that line for the card
Yeah.
ministry, whatever. But life gets happens, and you get busy, and then you find all kinds of excuses that you
Mhm.
can't do it and so forth. So I knew when I got that calling on October 16th, 2023 at the beach, I knew God was serious. He said, listen, it is time. So, it's 20 years later, but it's time. And
Yeah.
so it's no mistake that this is happening. I just
Mhm.
knew that it would. And the passion behind it, I love seeing the community get involved. It's so beautiful because every
Mhm.
time we have a card party, whether it's in somebody's home or in a business, somebody new shows up or whatever, something beautiful is shared. I've watched people like really help and love on each other. I've watched people, even people in business, sharing their information and getting new clients because of the card parties. So it's just like it really warms my heart to watch what's happening with it.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And I know you host those or someone else hosts them. I don't
Yep.
know. Talk
Yep.
more about the card ministry or the card party. So these aren't card parties that we're playing pinochle or rummy or any of that. This is writing cards, is
Yeah.
this card party,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, yes. And you know what? It's so funny because I keep thinking, should I call it something else? Because
No,
people might get confused, But
bring their deck of cards with them.
no, no,
You could do
no.
that after you write a card. You could play cards.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's another idea. And right now, I usually pray about it. I say, Lord, bring someone in my path that I think needs to be a host. You know what I mean? Or
Mhm,
whatever. And
mhm,
he always brings somebody. And then it's like the light bulb goes on and he brings, says, oh, you should reach out too. So I just thought of that again today. So I do. I like if I'm not networking, I might meet somebody that can tell they have a really giving heart. And I'll just say,
mhm.
hey, would you consider hosting a party? And as a host, you just set the date and time. You give that to me so I can rally people to come. If the host is in a good financial state that they can purchase the cards for
Mhm.
the party, that would be wonderful. If they can't, I find somebody or every so often I have somebody wanting to donate cards or
Nice.
just order a bunch of cards. And I just had Brandy Dudenhofer with Keller Williams Realty. She just ordered like 1,500 cards.
Wow.
And so I have a lady that reached out to me from a church, and they have 30 women that need a project, that need something to
Mm,
do. And she said, and they're mostly homebound. So this is beautiful. They're
yeah.
all going to have a purpose. They're going to write those cards out. So I'm just like, just a lot of stuff like that is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. Yeah. What I love about it is just a simple act, just but it's yet so, so powerful. Just the small gesture of writing a card. So, I've been to networking events where you've asked people to write cards. And so that's where I kind of am familiar with the card ministry. But there's such big impact with that. It's a small, simple gesture, but the impact is big. And you talked about those that in the military,
Yeah.
your husband and your son, and then all the other guys that were there. What a huge impact that was on them. And I will say, many times God puts things on our hearts and we may start it, but then it's like, okay, come on back. You started this. And so I love that you shared that because I feel like that's happened in my life. Like there's things that I've begun to do that I felt
Mhm.
the purpose and then drifted away from it and then come back to it. So it happens really
Yes.
kind of to all of us. So the big impact and the impact that I've had with the card ministry is I had a lady that she was a recipient of the cards. And
Mhm.
I didn't know that until after a while in our conversation. And I brought up a name and she's like, wait, I know that name.
Oh,
And I can't remember who was your name or whose name. And she's like, wait, I got cards from them. And I'm
yeah.
like, so it was cool. It warmed my heart to know that I've been connected to someone that has been a recipient
Yeah.
of the cards because, she had a loss. And so like I said, huge impact
Yeah.
for sure. So you shared the story about your husband and your son, that impact. Share with me other stories that really, there's probably a ton of them that have really touched your heart and stayed with you through this
Yeah.
ministry because there's probably a lot of them. And I think those kind of things is what really keeps us doing what we're doing many times. Sorry if that brings up emotion for you, but I still want you to share it.
Yeah. I know. Well, it's just
Touches my
there's so
heart, so
yeah, and there's so many. Okay, so there's another God thing. I
mhm,
was saying, Lord, I really want to get the kids involved. I want the
mhm,
children involved. So I have a few
mhm,
stories around that. But one that is really sticking out in my mind is when I was praying about that. Let's see. Well, that's a different one, but this one is first I'll share the community living story. Community living, there's 7 centers in St. Louis.
okay.
And what's so beautiful about them is every day they have day programs for disabled adults. Excuse that. I should not say disabled. I forget what the word is that you're supposed to use. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Um, they're adults with disabilities, I guess that's a better way to
Okay.
say it. But
Mhm.
anyway, they come there for the day program and they go home at night. But somebody referred me to them and said, they would be fully capable of doing the cards. And I said, oh, that
Mm.
would be wonderful. So last year we had our first card party at one of the community living centers. Since then, we probably have had three, and we've got another one coming up on May 9th. But I will tell you, nothing warms your heart more than when you are there and you're working with them because they have a purpose.
Mm.
They can put stickers on the cards. Some of them can write. One of the gals last time, it was so adorable. They actually took people out of the community living center and brought them to Thrivent, where Jack Bettke's office is. And we had a
Mhm.
card party there and we filled the whole
Nice.
room with them. And they were hilarious. One of the gals was telling me how that I needed to do a better job with my cards. And I'm like, okay, let's
You now have an assistant.
I'm like, let's work this together. So it was so cute. She was having me put the stickers on and she was writing the verbiage. And I was like, oh my gosh. And one of the guys, when we were at community living at the Jack Boschert Center, his name was Dylan. He walks up to me and all of a sudden he was so excited and he just looks at me and he goes, you love Jesus too. And
Oh.
I go, I do. How do you know? He goes, because you've got a cross on too. And so do I. And he had a big
Oh.
cross on it. And I was like, oh, and he hugged me so hard. I was like,
Mm.
that. So I'll tell you what, every time we go there, I couldn't get, I would go there every month. Seriously. I was thinking of talking to the director about that and making like
Mm.
an ongoing party date. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
monthly.
yeah, there's two centers, the Judy Mayhem Center and the Jack Boschert Center. We've been at both of them and we've had their folks come out. So another one was Erin Dwyer Bush. She got us in at Lemire, it's called. It's assisted living, and I think they have memory care there at a facility in Chesterfield. And they brought people out from community living. So this is how the community's coming together.
Yeah,
That's why I
love
think
that.
it's so beautiful because so they brought people, they had people from within Lemire themselves that came and helped. We had people from businesses, from the community come in, and the room was full and my heart was full. It was just like,
Mm.
wow, this is
Mm.
so
Beautiful.
amazing. So, yeah.
Beautiful. So when you do these parties, I want to take a little deeper on that. When you do these parties, do you have a specific person in mind? Are the cards just encouragement in general?
Okay.
So that when you get the information, you have these already prepared? Or is
Right.
it, or is,
Yeah. So the way it is now, I have 5 nonprofits that we serve. So depending on the nonprofit that you pick, like 3 of them are military. So if you're
okay,
writing, yep, like veterans and so forth, then
got it.
we may be just writing like I usually bring a sheet of paper that has different sayings on it if they can't think of something to write, but something more in gratitude of their service,
Oh,
that kind of
nice.
thing.
Mm.
But we do have an organization, one of the other ones that is out east, it's called Veterans Last Patrol,
Oh,
and they are veterans that are on hospice. So the
oh,
cards are different. We try to write very uplifting, thank you for your service, but also we're praying for you through your transition and we know God
nice.
is with you and it's pretty beautiful. So we do that. So it depends what they pick. And then we have a couple of senior organizations. One's called Voice. They do at Christmas time, they always had Project Holiday Cheer. Well, now they've kind of changed the rules a little bit, so we do more of the work, which is fine.
Mhm.
But we basically sign up for different nursing homes and facilities, and it kicks off October 1st, and we have like 2 months to handwrite as many Christmas cards as
Nice.
we can. So last year, I got the Girl Scouts involved from
Mm.
one of the troops, and we went, and that was so beautiful because we did
Mm.
cards. We went to Delmar Gardens, a nursing home. The girls wanted to sing songs. They wanted to make bracelets. So we did cards, bracelets, and songs all in an afternoon with all the folks that they could bring out to the main lobby
Nice.
area. So it was like so
Nice.
cute. So yes,
Mm.
it just depends on who they want to target, and right now it's like military and seniors, but one of my friends is going to start up an organization that will help single moms. And so
Mm,
we have talked about how the single moms could serve by writing cards, but we could also serve the single moms with encouraging notes.
I love the whole concept. And I'll go back to just very simple act of kindness that can impact so many so beautifully.
Yep.
It's
It's so simple.
amazing. So do you keep track? Are you at 1,000,000 because it's called a million card ministry? Okay, so maybe after this. So where are you at? So you've been doing this for since you restarted it,
Yeah, I started it, let's see. So it's been 2.5
couple years. Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And in the 2.5 years, we've done
Wow.
32,258 cards.
Okay.
And so, and I know when the Lord's ready to expand that. I mean, I've had other thoughts coming into play and people coming into my path recently where
Hmm.
we could grow it even
Sure.
a lot faster, I guess is the word. But
Sure.
somebody said to me, he's an engineer. It was so funny. Bob Kolf, he was the owner of Job Seekers Garden Club. And he says to me, Sue, have you done the math? Do you know if you only do like this many each year, you may not be alive to hit the million? And I said, well, here's the deal. I
Mm,
know that this has come from the Lord. So he may want me here, or maybe he'll want me to do it as long as when he calls me home and he'll hand it on to someone else. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So
Sure.
it's all
Sure.
good in the
Sure.
meantime. Mm,
Yeah. And I love that you said, I don't remember if you said out east or where you said, but it's like it's broader than just here. You and I are both in the St. Louis area. And you
yeah.
said about sending over to the ministry, but it sounds like it's broader already than
Hmm.
just the St. Louis area, which I love that. I would say any listeners that want to be a part of it, make sure that you reach out to Sue or I,
Yeah.
and we can help you do a card party at your place or
Yeah.
somewhere, whether wherever you're at in the country, I would say.
Yeah.
For sure. So I want to go back to being on the beach, out in nature, all of the grounding because it speaks to me very much so. So when I work with clients, and I just did a support group last night, and that's exactly what we talked about is the energy within the earth because the earth has energy, and just putting your feet in the grass, in the dirt, in the sand has such healing power. And
Yeah.
the other piece of that healing power you mentioned was the wind and the water. All of that just being present in
Mhm.
nature outside, there's so much healing. It calms us down.
Yeah.
It resets our nervous system, like I kind of said at the beginning. And there's so much healing, especially when people are grieving, because
Yeah.
that's where I work with people to help them reset their nervous system because their nervous system is on high alert when
Mm,
there is grief. And so um, the more you can reset that nervous system to get it out of fight and flight, the better off you are in your grieving, your healing journey from
right.
grief and really all things. So I love that you mentioned that because that is something that I talk with people about all the time and just talked to another person that said, "Oh no, I don't go outside and do any of that." I'm like,
Me too.
Let's work that into your routine. 5 minutes, 10 minutes is
Exactly.
fine. Just be
Doesn't
present
have
out. Get outside for sure.
doesn't have to
So
be
that
long. It does have to be long, but just it's so funny because we're gonna have an event next Tuesday night,
mhm,
Mother's Tea and Happy Hour at the Personal
nice.
Gifting Company in Forest Out. And so I was trying to think because I'm one of the sponsors with Moonlight Travel. So I thought, you know what? I could order 2 plastic trays and put sand in them. So when they come in, if they want to take their shoes off, seriously, put their feet in the sand and just
Uh-huh.
sit and relax and have that
Mhm.
glass of wine or other beverage as
Mhm.
we have water and the rest. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna bring that along because I thought it doesn't matter that it's indoors. We
You
can
know?
stick our feet in the sand anyway. So,
You
yeah.
can. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. So, how do you connect those two together between the healing, the
Oh,
travel
yeah.
of that, and this giving component, this giving ministry that you have?
Yeah.
How do you, as a person, connect those together and maybe share how others can do the same?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking since I want everyone, so for years we didn't travel, my husband and I. When we were raising our kids, it was like all about their
Mhm.
sports and this and that. We could never get schedules to align. We wouldn't go. And so we went on our first beach trip 11 years ago. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. This is the most relaxed. It's very hard to explain, but I
Mhm.
just feel like I don't relax anywhere near as much as when I'm on the beach. And
Sure.
I want that for everyone, right? So I started thinking too, my goodness, we could plan retreats where people could get away, be on the beach and write some cards out or have the biggest card party ever. I
Oh,
haven't done that yet, but that's what I'm thinking. I mean, that's
okay.
been in my head lately. It's like, you know, pick one of the favorite spots and just
Yeah.
say, "Hey, we're going to go here on these dates. Who wants to come?" And we can do cards when we're there and just enjoy. And that's the other thing, Teresa. I just feel like every family deserves to do that because it's just so healing for the family too. It's just you relax, you forget about all the troubles of the world and all the other stuff going on in your life, and you just enjoy
Yeah.
it.
So we have a lot of listeners that may feel or know someone, I will say, that really feels stuck in their grief.
Yes.
So how can I want to pick your brain on this and I'll probably elaborate on this, but how can serving
Mm,
and reaching out to others become part of their healing
mhm.
without maybe bypassing their own pain? Making sure that
Exactly. And
yeah, yeah.
I think it's a key component for people while they're grieving to do something for someone else. It just, in my mind, it takes the focus off your grief and
Mhm.
it makes you feel good about helping someone else. So can you imagine like sitting down and if let's say we've got a list of 10 people that are going through
Mhm.
grief and by handwriting out notes to them really changes their world. It really does. I bought one of my friend's daughter lost her best friend in a motorcycle accident. And she was only
Mhm.
like 19, 20 years old. And I would just hand wrote a heartfelt card and I sent a heart pillow, one that you hold, on your
Mhm.
heart to heal your heart. And I mean, she was just, you would have thought I gave her $1 million. I mean, it was just
Mm.
like so beautiful.
Yeah,
In my mind, Teresa, anyone grieving could definitely help. They could give back that way, and I know it
sure,
would make them feel good and
sure,
give them a little break from their grieving too.
sure, sure. I love that. And why I kind of asked the question that way is we don't want to bypass our own grief. So
Right.
many times we do things, not this, but we
Mhm.
do other things to avoid our
Yeah.
own pain.
Yeah.
And I would say that's where many, many nonprofits have begun is because somebody wants to do something for someone else
Yeah.
and they're within from their pain
Mhm.
or to avoid someone else's pain. And so nonprofits are many are started because of loss, grief, all of
Yes.
those things. I
Yeah.
do know people that started them for what I just talked about to avoid their pain. They wanted to keep busy and give
Um,
back. So we just need to be careful with that we're not doing things for others or other things to avoid, but we're really doing that. And it's just a reframe in our minds that we're
mhm.
doing this to honor our loved one and to give back to the community to not push our grief down and not heal from that. So I
Right.
just wanted to make sure I wanted to make that really clear that we don't do things for other to avoid
Right. Right.
our
No.
own pain, that we do it to help heal our pain instead of
Yeah.
avoiding our pain.
Yeah.
Does that make
Absolutely.
sense?
100%. Mm,
Yeah, and it does. There's so much benefit in giving and serving other people.
yeah,
There's so much healing that comes from that. So it is an amazing way to really heal yourself and is a way to honor
yeah,
your loved one many, many times. And it's just that how we're viewing it and how we're looking at it, what
yeah.
is most important there.
That's so
So if
beautiful.
someone, yeah, so if someone's listening and feels pulled to either travel for restoration, healing, or to start something like your ministry, what would you want them to know? Hmm.
What would I want them to know? Well, I want them to know my phone number
Okay. Okay. So you
so I
can
can
give
help them.
you can reach out and I can give that to them, whatever works for
Yes.
you.
Yeah, I just would want them to know that so we could I love just helping people no matter what the circumstance. So having a phone conversation around it and just I love helping people align their experiences so that what they're expecting out of their travel that
Mhm.
they receive. It's all about experience, right? And who you're going to
Mhm.
spend the time with. And I will share this too. It's very interesting when you get a group of people or you get, it can even be a smaller, maybe two, three couples or whatever, um, to get that experience right because everybody has a different passion or desire, things that they like and don't like. And so all that really matters. And I'm going to be in full disclosure. I had a gal last year that was in a really early stage of grief, and it was very difficult for her to enjoy her trip. So, if I were to
Sure.
give any advice, that might be something to wait for later to get through working with Teresa here to get through those stages of grief, to get a little bit under your belt that way first before heading out on a trip. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
It
Because it was
does.
just too early. And
Mhm.
and I felt so bad for her because she just could not enjoy no matter,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
she tried. How hard
Yeah.
she tried. She just couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, have a lot of clients and a lot of people that I know that the holidays is the time that they want to get out of town. And I understand that. And I will go back to what you said. Sometimes the timing, I understand, but sometimes the timing you need to pay attention to that timing of where you're at on your healing journey to
Mhm.
make sure that you're in a good space because it could really turn out to be miserable and hard and do the opposite of what you might think
Yeah.
as far as your healing journey.
Yeah.
So, and
Mm,
everyone's different. There could be
yeah.
other people that a week after that is what they need. They need a total disconnect and be away to do their healing where other people know it's going to take some more time before
Yeah.
that is really beneficial. So it's
Yeah.
really an individual
Mhm.
thing
Yes.
for people. Like I would say one thing I would say with that is if someone is experiencing a parent or a child or someone that has a long journey with an illness, sometimes getting away right away
Yes.
is beneficial because they have been grieving
Mhm.
the person
Exactly.
while they're still living for a long period of time during that illness. So it just I guess what I wanna say is the date of the death doesn't dictate the healing, where you're at in your healing, because
Yeah.
that's different for everyone,
Yeah.
you know,
So
where you're
so
at. So, as we kinda conclude, is there anything else that you would like the listeners to know just
true.
with, experiences with the card ministry, grief, anything else that I didn't ask you a question about and you thought, "Oh, I wanna make sure that I share this when I get on the podcast with Teresa?"
I think you covered it really well.
Okay.
I just want to make sure people reach out to me if they want to
Yeah,
serve in any way or if they just want to learn more about it, the
yeah,
card ministry. And the same with the beach vacations. I guess the one thing I
yeah,
should mention is I mean, my niche is the all inclusive beach vacation,
yeah.
which because we've
Love
been
that.
on 15 of those in 5 different countries. And
Mm,
so I know the brands really well. I just know I would know where to put you based on some questions I would ask,
that's
to make
awesome.
sure that you get the right experience. However, we have been on a lot of beach vacations in the US as well. So
That's awesome.
beach, whether it's in the US or international, I would love to help, so make sure that
Yeah.
you get the right experience. So
Sue is the beach expert.
yeah,
Beach
all about the beach.
beaches are your thing and putting your feet in the sand. Sue is
Mhm.
definitely the person to support and help you on that.
So I
So,
guess
as we finish, I just want to gently bring us back to something Sue shared earlier, this idea that healing doesn't always have to be complicated or heavy. It can
mm,
be simple. Sometimes it looks like standing near the water,
oh,
taking a
like
deep breath, allowing your
mhm,
body to soften just a little. And sometimes it looks like reaching outward, a simple card, a kind
yeah,
word, a
mhm,
reminder to someone else that they are not alone.
yeah,
So, what I love about this conversation is the balance of both the invitation to receive and the invitation to give, because
mhm,
grief and in life, it's not about choosing one or the other. It's about allowing both to exist, the giving and the receiving. So maybe the next step isn't something big or overwhelming. Maybe it's simply asking yourself, where do I need a little more peace? And
right,
where do I offer a little more love? So
right.
thank you, Sue, for sharing your heart,
You are
your
so welcome.
story, the beautiful way that you are creating connections and
Mm.
calm in this world. And everyone listen. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm hoping one day we get to have. I envision a huge celebration where we have a huge map on the wall and it lights up with all the cities in the
Nice.
world that we have served.
Yeah.
I think
I
it'll
look
be.
forward to that.
Oh
I
yeah,
look forward to that.
it will happen for sure.
Yeah. 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 So to everyone listening, thank you for being here, for
Mhm.
doing your own work for your healing and allowing space for both healing and hope. And until next time, this is Teresa Reiniger with Female Voices Life and Loss. Take care of your heart.